What's going on? We are live, live, live. Not a big deal anymore, huh? Going live, not just making sure the audio is good. We got the microphone right here. This is such a good setup. I feel like I'm actually in, I'm actually in like a broadcaster style thing. It's amazing the technology that we have today. It's truly just you could revolutionary. You can get one video, 15-second clip that completely changes the world. Do you know that? Do you remember that one picture of the woman it was a man or a woman? I don't know who it was. I think it was in China, and they stood in front of the tank. That one photo just completely revolutionized everything. I just want to make sure that okay, we're good with the Wi-Fi. Okay, so this is something that I actually read from a book called Transcending something. I'll bring it up tomorrow, and it was a really interesting take on tasks. You know, you obviously have the one thing, which is do the one thing every single day. If you're in fitness, obviously that's workout. Maybe post on Instagram. Maybe make a YouTube video. Maybe reach out to a couple of clients. You know, I know that's like 4 or 5 things, but there's one thing out of those 4 things that produce the results that you want, whether it's in business or exposure or growing your audience or whatnot. And if you're in business, you have to do that one thing. It's not answering emails because that's someone else's time, that's someone else's productivity, that's someone else's questions. And I always thought that if I make a to-do list and I actually go and do that to-do list, I'm thinking, okay, actually, you know what? This is really good. I went to Chase, I deposited a commission check, and then I dropped my shoes off. My shoes are getting shined. And then I started thinking, that's actually not really productivity because nothing was getting done. Nothing was actually coming in. Okay, things were going out, my shoes, my check, and things like that. Top of the morning, how we doing, sir? This is a really good way to actually regulate what are you doing. So the number one thing, I don't need to talk about that. There's plenty of videos about that. Obviously, that's by Gary Keller, who built. Actually, it's now the number one firm in the world, and honestly it might be because of the book. I have 3 books in mind. This is years out. This isn't happening in 2018, maybe not even 2019. But the first book is What Not to Do in Business. Number 2 is my principles up to 30 years old, and then this one, which I'll probably write when I'm 39, which is my principles from 30 to 40 years old, because obviously that changed, my priorities changed and everything else. But to write a book, what they said in the on writing, which I actually downloaded the audiobook. I haven't read it yet, but or listened to it. But what they say is that just write 500 words. Just write 200 words. Just write 100 words. And the reason being is that it's not about researching the well, yeah, it's a little bit about researching the topic. But if you're an author, that's what you do. Okay, if you're a speaker, that's what you do, is you produce content. So distance in the day is you have your goal. Okay, so your goal is, and I'll talk about Peter Thiel. I'm all over the place right now, but Peter Thiel, who's you can learn about a little bit more socially. He was outed by Gawker and sued Gawker. It was a total crazy thing. But he's also on the board of Facebook. He was an angel investor pretty much in Facebook and Washington Post and PayPal. He knows Elon Musk. He's a Silicon Valley legend out there. But he said something 0 to 1 very interesting in the book, and I think it was quoted in there or just somewhere else, but he said, what can you do, what 5-year goal can you do in 6 months? And people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? How do you do a 5-year goal in 6 months? And then you layer that on top of what Elon Musk said. He said, if you're used to working 40 hours a week, even 60 hours a week, yet I'm doing 80 or 120. So what you do in 6 months, I could do, or what you do in a year is what I could do in 6 months. And then you compound that 6 months, 6 months. So 6 months, 6 months is your 1 year and 2 year. For him, that's just 1 year. So he's doubling what you're doing. I'm not saying work your ass off, but I'm pretty much saying work your ass off. If you can, work your ass off. But it's what are you doing? So this is the distance in the day. This is productivity 101. Obviously, we're talking about the number one thing, okay, which is for me, sales calls. Every single morning, have to make the sales calls. After that, it's what's my goal? So this year it's business development, getting enough money that we could do the advertising and marketing that I want to do. So I need to stow cash away, and obviously rainy day fund as well. It's stow cash away. So I have my goal of productivity, or I'm sorry, my goal of business development. Okay, that's my 1 year goal. every single month I say, okay, this month I'm going to reach out to for sale by owners, make that a habit. The second month I'm going to reach out to past clients and for sale by owners. The third month, for sale by owners, past clients, and then I make it a habit. Okay, so every single day I'm not saying, did I return the emails? Did I make an Instagram post? Like I haven't been as active on Instagram because I noticed it sort of gives me business, but it doesn't really give me business. Okay, so distance in the day is how far into your goal have you gone? How far into your 1 year goal, your 5 year goal, your 10 year goal did you? It's not how many tasks you get done. I actually wrote this down, and it's not how many tasks you get done. It's not. I have a to-do list. It's, Brian Tracy said that in highly recommend this book, Eat That Frog. Highly recommend that book, Eat That Frog, which is if you have the biggest, ugliest frog for the day and you eat it at 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning, every other frog that you're gonna eat that day, not a big deal. In other words, if you do the worst task for the day, the thing that you don't want to do, that proposal, that presentation, those sales calls, whatever it is, everything else, you already did your number one thing, or your ugly frog. Okay, as Brian Tracy said. And he said, after that, this is what you do. You can really only accomplish 3 big things in a day. Mark Zuckerberg said 3 things in a year. He'd be happy if he did 3 things in an entire year, but those are big projects. So in a day, you could only do 3 things. The number one thing, and then 2 other supplemental things. Okay, so you look at 5 things, you eliminate 2, because we all have a to-do list. You eliminate 2, and then you prioritize from what you need to do all the way down less productive into your goal. Not what's easy, not what you could do, not what you want to do, but what is leading you towards your goal. Okay, so that means the distance in your day. It's not the amount of tasks you could do. You could do 1 task for the whole day, but you went so far into your goal. That's the only way to think about it, is how far into my goal am I getting? If your goal is to lose weight, if your goal is to make more money or save more money or pay down your debt or start a business, how far into starting the business? It's not about picking out the color scheme. It's about actually creating the website or the service or the product that you need to actually go to the marketplace. Okay, so it's, like the colors and the logo, that sort of matters, but this is, that's keep marketing on the side. Sales is everything. Sales is everything. So you have to look at, okay, I start today at whatever time, but you really have to say, I started at 0, okay? How far into my goal am I going, okay? It's not about, I did 15 tasks and then I'm good, because you leave the day and you feel empty because you did nothing towards your ultimate goal. So you actually feel, oh, I'm too busy. A lot of people say, oh, I'm too busy, Really? How long did you spend on Facebook and Instagram? How many videos did you watch? What's going on, Paul? I love the consistency. There's a lot of things that we do that doesn't fucking do anything but just stretch time. Okay? It's not about the time you spend on the task. It's not about the number of tasks. It's the amount of distance, and I hate saying this again, it's the amount of distance into your goal. So my goal is business development. So whether I see that today or I see that tomorrow, I'm seeing a big uptick in my business development because I focused on it. It's consistent, and then every single day I'm just going a little bit further into it, Yesterday, I had to do a property tour. I had a ton of shit to do when I came back. Then I had to do an appointment right after the property tour. I was exhausted. The first time I had a meal was at 2:30. I could have easily said, you know what, I'm done for the day. No, okay? I have what I needed to do in the morning, which was sales calls. I could have easily pushed that away. I could have easily said that. But I said, no, my distance for this year, my goal for this year is business development. That's my sole focus. Last year, it was health. So last year I said, okay, what did I do in the morning? Did I go to the gym? Did I eat right? My distance into making it a habit. That's really what it comes down to. Now that I think about it, is that the distance into the day is more about how are you going to make this consistent? How am I going to make this a habit? Tomorrow we're going to talk about something that's very important. So I just got back from Florida. I'm just going to go into this really quick. I got back from Florida. Today's literally the first day. So Monday, Tuesday, today's Wednesday morning. So that's a little into 2 days, a little into 3 days, I should say, that I'm finally feeling that I'm not groggy because I completely unplugged. It was really good to do that, okay? And I'm not saying that's bad. but it's really easy to come back and not get back into your routines. And tomorrow's video is literally about how can you afford to get sick, which is all about your health. With productivity, you have to find out what's actually making me do and get the business. You have to literally critically think and say, okay, how did I get this? Was it because I wrote a note or a text message or an email or a call or I marketed or I advertised? You know, there's click funnels. There's so many different types of businesses out there. You know, Ty Lopez launched one video that was one of the most watched videos that's outside of a music video and an entertainment video. He's probably the top watched educational video when it's really an advertisement. And he actually did a very good presentation at Grant Cardone's 10X this year. I ordered the live stream. Highly recommend that. It's like 16, 17 videos for like $200 from 16, 17 just killers in the game. And Ty Lopez said in there, very important, he said, you know what? Though a lot of people say, you know, I can't believe that this went viral, he said, that's a decade plus of just psychologically, you know, he put the phone up, so that's raw. He put it up behind a Lamborghini, so that's creative, or not creative, but that's the glitz or the glamour, the thing that in your mind goes, oh, what's that? And then he turned it around, and then he said, what's better than this car is books. So he did a mindset shift, and then he obviously closed it, and he said 67 steps, and then he said it's garnered God knows how many people into the program. $67 or whatever it is now, $67. It's all about, so he psychologically made a video because of a decade and a half of just understanding human needs and human nature. I understand human needs and human nature that we want comfort. We don't want to try. We do the easiest thing possible. Look around. That's what people are doing. You know, like this message is never going to change, except for me, is just get a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, or in the subtle art of not giving a fuck, just getting a little bit less wrong. That's really what it comes down to, a little less wrong. That's the way that he says it. So I'm going to leave you with this: is that you have your goal, whatever it is, you know, leave it in the comments below what your goal is. And honestly, it's going to give me an idea of, you know, are you guys going for health? Are you going for money? Are you going for business? Are you going for relationships? Is it going for even further? Is it going for legacy? Is it going for non-for-profit? Is it going, you know, what foundational goal is your long term? And then you break it down per month. You know, I think one video that I'm going to do is, you know, what is my monthly breakdown of goals? You know, I look at it quite often. People call it a business plan. I don't, you know, business plan, I just look at it as targets, and you're never going to get there. You're never going to be satisfied. You know, I think I'm going to make a video, what's today? Maybe on Friday, Good Friday, make a video about that we're never going to get to the arena of happiness, you know, as Dr. Jordan Peterson has talked about, and obviously he was not the first one, but he's bringing it to light, is that life is suffering, and we're just trying to avoid that. So we're trying to avoid it through social media, TV, eating, you know, socializing, drinking, smoking, you know, all these things that we're trying to avoid the suffering of life. And it's very interesting because what I've noticed is that I love working, but the thing is to actually work and move forward, I can send out an email or do an Instagram post and feel like that's productive. However, I'm just going to go back to the theme, and then I'm going to make my sales calls, which is, if you have your goal and you're not moving a little bit towards it, you're going to start losing confidence. You're going to start losing faith, and you're going to start actually doubting the process. You're going to start getting, you're going to start settling. That's really what it comes down to. You're going to start settling, and then you're going to say, fuck it. You know what? I'm not made out to be in shape. I'm not made out to be in a great relationship. I'm not made out to start my own business. I'm not made out to, you know, be successful or leave a legacy or things like that. You're going to start doubting that because you're looking at the outcome. The outcome is not exactly what you want. Look at yesterday's video, which is just outlast the competition. And the only way to outlast the competition is to have faith that everything is going to come together at the end, number one. Number two, even though I have three fingers up, number three, whatever you want to call it. Number three is have unwielding positivity towards what you're going for, is that you just have belief that this is going to work out, okay? And this is more of a hack, okay? So I'm just going to leave you with this, then I'm going to do my calls, which is look at the distance, not the tasks, not the time spent, not anything else, but the distance towards your goal. Okay, the distance towards your goal is I'm at 200, I want to get to 195 or 190 or whatever it is. The distance toward the goal is not the amount of pounds. Yeah, it could be because that's the outcome, but the distance towards the goal is, did I go to the gym? Did I eat right? Because shit will start happening if you do that. Okay, look at the effort. It's all about effort. It's not about the outcome. The outcome will come, but if we look at the outcome, we start losing the faith. We have to look at the effort put in every single day. Shit will happen. I'm telling you right now, because I'm only 21 days into calling every single day, and I can't even tell you the amount of confidence I have going into a phone call, going into a conversation, going into an appointment. And that has to do with that I have the foundational principle of energy and enthusiasm based on health, but also because I fucking held myself accountable. And I said, the only way to hold myself accountable is to go Facebook Live and just see you guys see me fail and making stupid calls, maybe in the beginning. But now I'm like, you know what? It's a habit. I have to do this. This is how I do my distance into my goal, which is business development. So I'm going to hop over to facebook.com/Botensten and obviously hop on calls. I just blacked out for like, what, 15, 16 minutes? That was a 16-minute video? That's crazy. All right, guys. Enjoy your Wednesday. And if you guys have any questions, obviously leave it below. If you guys want to share, obviously please do. If you have any ideas of future videos, you know, I have tomorrow's, which is Can You Afford to Get Sick? That was supposed to be today, but I just felt obligated that I needed to do how far into your goal are you doing. So end of Wednesday here, man. That's awesome. You're out in where are you at? And obviously, number one, share, like, subscribe, whatever you want to do, but also leave what you want me to talk about. Pakistan, dude, that's awesome. And you're green. I like the green circle AK. All right, man. So I'll see you guys, facebook.com/Botensten for my live sales calls. See you guys soon.